Shalom, everybody. I make this video to glorify God, Father God in heaven, and to glorify Jesus Christ, Yeshua HaMashiach. This is video number 3, and I would like to tell you about the first time I heard God's voice. This happened back in, I would say, 2006, 2007. I was about 19, 20 years old. And I was walking home one day from work. Either I had gotten off of work or I went to Burger King and got me something to eat, if not both. Then I was walking home. Just 2 blocks. It shouldn't have been no more than a 10-minute walk. And it was about 8 o'clock at night. It wasn't late, but it was dark. And I was just walking down the street, just walking, nothing out of the usual, nothing out of the ordinary. And out of nowhere, literally out of nowhere, I heard a voice shout, "Turn around." And when I did turn around, there was this car that was literally right behind me. I mean, within feet, about 7 feet right behind me. And he was driving really, really slow, like 5 miles an hour, because he didn't want me to hear, sneaking up on me. And it was a brown Oldsmobile, like a grandma car, and the passenger door was wide open and the headlights were cut off. And when I heard the voice, when I heard this voice say, "Turn around," I kind of looked and I scanned, like, who said that? Because there was nobody outside. And I did kind of like a double take, because I glanced over my shoulder. I wasn't expecting to see anything, and then I turned back around like, "Oh my God." When I said, "Oh my God," one guy slammed the passenger door closed, and the other guy flipped the headlight switch on, and they just drove right by me. Just drove right by me, and I'm looking at him like, "Oh my God, oh my God." And I'm looking around like, "Oh, is anybody out?" And there's nobody out there. Nobody out there. So where did that voice come from? Nobody would just open the door, like they were sitting on the couch watching TV and they had their window open. They're like, "Hey, turn around," and not come outside and say, "Hey, are you okay? I saw that." I mean, there was nobody there. There was nobody outside at all. And I watched this car drive down the street. I was trying to get the license plates, but it was too dark. So I watched them drive off, because I wanted to see what direction they were going to drive in. And they just literally drove all the way straight till they got out of sight. Once they got out of sight, I bolted. I just took off running the rest of the way home. When I heard the voice, it sounded like an echo that came from the sky. It sounded like, "Turn around." But when he yelled it, he yelled it loud, "Turn around." It sounded like an echo, and it came from the sky. It came from up there, It came from the sky. I know for a fact that was God's voice. He saw fit. It wasn't my time yet. I hadn't finished my purpose yet. I hadn't even figured out who I was. And it wasn't until I turned my life over to the Lord He let me know who I really was. This isn't the only time that the Lord saved my life. There was another incident. I was about 15, 16 years old. My mom dropped me off at a friend's house for a party. Dropped me off like around 9, 10 o'clock. She was to pick me up at 12. Well, the party ended. It was about 12 o'clock, so I went ahead and went to the parking lot waiting on my mom. And I'm sitting in the front of the apartment complex, and I'm waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting. And I'm like, where is she? And I was kind of ducked off by the gate in the dark, because I didn't want to be seen. It was not the best area. And I'm, standing there, and I see this guy, as far as my eye can see, just walking down the sidewalk. And I was just watching him. I just could not take my eyes off of this guy. Like, my eyes were just glued to him, and I'm just watching him walk all the way to me. And it's like this sign started going off in my mind, and it was a red neon light flashing sign with big capital letters. And the closer he got, the louder and brighter the sign got. And the sign said rapist. And he literally walked right in front of me and started to cross the street to go to the store. And I'm looking at him like, no, he can't be a rapist. Just the way he looked, you know. Well, what does a rapist look like, you know? And he crossed the street and he looked behind him for whatever reason, and he saw me. So when we made eye contact, I kind of, you know, because I didn't want him to see me. And he started to turn around. I'm like, oh no, I hope he doesn't come walk up to me and talk to me. And he started walking back across the street, looking right at me while he was doing it. And there were these headlights. There were these headlights that were driving up, and he didn't have any regard for the traffic and this person who was driving, because it was just one car. I could see the headlights, and I could just see this one car. The headlights were coming up, and he was just walking like he didn't have any regard for that car. And the car honked at him, like, you know, like, what are you doing? And he was like, sorry. And he kind of stepped back and let the car drive on by, and the car just so happened to come in the apartment complex, and it's my mom. It's my mom. I knew right then and there that it was not a coincidence. I knew when I saw her drive into the apartment complex that it was not a coincidence. So I threw my hands up at the car, like, where have you been? And I wasn't doing that necessarily for her. I was doing that to let the guy know, like, hey, whatever you're trying to do, don't do it, because I know the person in his car. And when I did, he stopped walking on a dime. And I was like, oh my God, he was going to come up to me and talk to me. So I go to the car, and I was just about to get in. Right before I do, I look over the hood of the car, and I see him kind of turning around. He's looking at me over his shoulder as he's turning around. We get in the car, we drive down the street the same way my mom came, and we pass him by the window, and I'm just looking at him out the window as we pass by him, and it dawns on me, why didn't he go back to the store? Because he was going to the store before he saw me. So why would he not go back to the store? Why would he just continue to walk down the street? Well, that stayed on my mind for a while. For a while. And I was in class about 2 months later. I was in class, and I was writing something down on the desk, and it hit me out of nowhere like a sack of potatoes. And I dropped my pen, and I was like, oh my goodness, I had a dream about that. The Lord was trying to warn me about this, and he let me have a dream. And in my dream, this dream happened 2 months before the incident was going to take place. And then once the incident took place, it was another 2 months later where I was in class, and it dawned on me, oh my goodness, I had a dream about this. I forgot because I thought it was a nightmare. And in my dream, I just woke up in this blackness. I was just in blackness, like in this black space, and I saw this guy's face. I couldn't see a body or a neck or anything like that. All I could see was just his face, just his face, and black everything else. And he was smiling at me. He was smiling at me like this, the biggest. I'm talking about, like, you know. And it kind of looked like he was turning like this, because the way his face was turning, it looked like his body was turning. I couldn't see his body, and it looked like he just took his fist like this and knocked me out in one punch. I don't know if he hit me with his fist or what, but knocked me out, and my eyes were wide open, and I was just stuck. I was just stuck, and he picks me up by my legs and he drags me off somewhere because I could hear and I could feel the grass sliding underneath me, and I could feel my hair being pulled, on the ground. And he takes me off somewhere. He gets on top of me and he starts raping me and choking me at the same time with both hands. All of his body weight just on my neck, on my throat. And he was looking at me right in my eyes while he was doing it. Looking at me right in my eyes while he was doing it. And it's like he wasn't even there. And my normal vision, how I see everything, just got smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller till it was just like a black tunnel all around what I was seeing. And it got smaller and smaller and smaller until literally everything I saw was like this small. And I woke up. The Lord was trying to warn me in this dream, and I thought it was a nightmare. I forgot about the nightmare. I forgot about the dream. Then he tried to warn me again with the sign that was flashing, rapist. And I actually looked at this guy and I'm like, no, he can't be a rapist. Then he had to just go ahead and intercept, and he intercepted time space. I really believe that he intercepted time space. Somehow, some kind of way, he slowed down me and this guy's time, because when I say it was like he was moving in slow motion, it really felt like he was moving in slow motion and sped my mom's time up. It slowed our time down, but sped my mom's time up so she could hurry up and get there faster. Because I knew at that moment when she drove into the parking lot that there wasn't coincidence at all. I knew it wasn't when I saw her. The Lord is giving me confirmation on this. I thought about it for years. And the other incident too, where these guys were driving up on me as I was walking down the street. Literally, they were right behind me. And I heard his voice tell me to turn around. Years later, I was praying to God. I was praying to Jesus. I was praying to Jesus, and I was just on my mind like, what were they gonna do? What were they gonna do? I know about the one guy that I had a dream about, but what were these two guys? What were they gonna do? And right when I said it, I had a vision where I was laying down in this big in a big car, a wide car, and this Oldsmobile was a wide body car. I was laying down in the back seat, and my legs were draped over one guy's lap, and my head was laying in the other guy's lap. And they were taking my clothes off at the same time. One was taking my pants off, and the other was taking, like raising my shirt up, and my wrists were tied together, and I had like some duct tape over my mouth. My feet were not tied together because he had to get the pants off, but my wrists were tied together. And I'm just laying there, and I'm kind of sulking, like, like just please, like just let me go. Just have mercy, have pity on me, and just let me go. And these guys, one was taking my pants off, the other was lifting my shirt up, and as they were both doing so at the same time, the both of them went mm, 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 like they liked what they saw. And when I saw that, I broke away because it bothered me to see that happening to me. So I go back. I try to get the vision back because I really wanted to know what exactly were they gonna do? Were they gonna leave me? Were they gonna let me go afterwards, or were they not gonna let me go? And how are they gonna take me out if they weren't gonna let me go? I just wanted to know. And I tried to get the vision back, and it's like the Lord knew that it was too much for me. I didn't want to see that, and it was going to be on my mind heavy. So he showed me this knife, this big army knife. Looked like it's not a butcher, not a kitchen knife, not a butcher knife. Like it was actual, like an army knife. And it was just spinning in midair. It was just spinning, and it was like confirmation that no, you weren't gonna make it out of that, and this is how they were gonna do it. They were gonna stab me to death. I thank the Lord all the time. I thank the Lord that He saved my life. Because there are a lot of other women that don't, they don't hear the voice that I did, or they don't hear the voice that I did. You know, I would like to think that they were already forgiven of their sins, but it was just confirmation for me that um, if I had died, I might not have been going to the place I thought I was going. Because I was a lukewarm Christian. I didn't even know I was lukewarm. I didn't. I wasn't praying. I wasn't repenting. I would go months without praying. I was just too busy living my life. I didn't even have any regard for Him. And He had to show me that He saved my life, and I'm so grateful, and I'm so appreciative that He did, because I could have been in a really bad place for all eternity in my ignorance. So I'm very, very grateful. I'm very, very grateful. Because not only could I have died that night, I could have ended up in a really bad place. He saved my life not once but twice. I heard His voice. A strong voice, but it was still a calm, loving voice. Nurturing voice. I thank Him all the time. I'm so appreciative of what He's done for me. This is video number 3. I hope that this video helps someone get closer with God. I hope that the watchers, the people watching this, repent and turn to Jesus in these last final days. This is why I do what I do. Because the Lord has shown me and revealed to me as to who He is. And He's revealed to me who I am too. Because I remember what happened right before I was born in this body, in this flesh. That's on another video. So this is video number 3. I hope that this helps someone. May God bless you. Shalom.